PM says government committed to address corruption. MOU signed to enable digital payment. And Trukai announced new brand ambassador.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Hello and welcome. This is Saturday's news. Prime Minister James Marape has highlighted the government's commitment to address corruption in the country. He says the government will continue to advocate on important areas of work which allows for an environment of transparency and accountability. An important area of focus highlighted by the Prime Minister was transparent parliament process.
Prime Minister James Marape was speaking during the inaugural National Integrity Summit hosted by Transparency International recently. He says parliamentary practices will continue to embrace the need for the people to know what is going on, this whether in debate or strengthening the parliamentary committee system to fight corruption.
Parliamentary practice will continue to embrace the need for citizens to know what is going on, and I note one of the recommendations that was presented earlier for need for Parliament to be more transparent and for its proceedings especially to be broadcasted and for its functions to be held and for reports to be made known.
The Prime Minister says public accounts is an area of work that must be embraced. The outcomes of public accounts discussions have featured in important procurement, management and administrative outcomes. They are working on building an efficient public service through the establishment of a special parliamentary committee on public sector reforms. With gender-based violence highlighted as an area of work, there are some early progress on building a coalition leadership in Parliament on this issue. Marape says Parliament must take leadership and the society will follow.
Those committees now working to assess how best we could ensure public service is effective and efficient without becoming an impediment to service delivery in our country. It will embrace some of the elements of law and practice that needs better and stronger outcomes.
With the ICAC bill passed last year, the government is working on the establishment of this institution. A regulation has been crafted which allows for the appointment process of the Commission and the staff. The European Union is working with the government in providing technical assistance for the effective functioning of ICAC.
I pick a copy of this law for all of you as stakeholders in corruption in the country. Look into this, and if there are rules for improvement, then I am ready and available, and ICAC, as we have the interim structure we have, is ready and available. The whole of government system is ready and available too.
We are fully committed to support you. In fact, the EU will provide technical assistance for ICAC from this year already. At the same time, of course, further steps need to be taken in order to ensure progress on key anti-corruption law and further increase public accountability.
The Prime Minister further highlighted other challenges the country is facing. These include weak institutions, with some legislations and enabling acts obsolete, and management practices needs to be updated.
That our institutions are weak. Having law is one thing, but effective policy, effective prosecution, and effective conviction, securement of those who are found to have breached those laws that we promulgate are important for our country.
Rayan Lakingu, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has highlighted the need for a free and independent press in the country. He says their job is to report fairly to help citizens determine how to decide and respond. And the government will continue to embrace the freedom of media.
We must know government, and for Papua New Guinea we have a robust democracy, and freedom of media remains a fundamental foundation and character of our democracy, and our government today stands to maintain this key pillar of our society, and I don't think any government, especially a democratic government into the future, will tamper with freedom of media. And let me assure each and every one, the freedom of media under my watch will remain, and let me also assure our economy, observers in the economy, our society, our civil society, our citizens and population into the future. No government will come in to tamper into the right. That right is secured by constitutional provision. And we, at all times, must protect media freedom. But having said this also, there must be accountability also on the other side for those who use what is provided for in the Constitution as a free voice. That free voice must also be held to account for accurate presentation of reporting and media.
President of the PNG Media Council, Neville Choi, has urged journalists to strike a balance in their reporting. Speaking recently in Port Moresby, Choi said journalists must give an opinion that is balanced. Mr. Choi said though this is not learnt in journalism schools, times are changing and writing must adapt to that.
Now, we've been taught in journalism school not to have an opinion about what we report as journalists, that we should focus on the truth and present that in an unbiased fashion. I think that with the times we're in, we must relook at that. And I choose my words carefully. We must have an opinion, but I don't mean a biased opinion of any sort. I mean we as journalists and the media fraternal should have an opinion as to what standards we wish to see in society, what standards we wish to hold up against our current leadership and our future leadership. As I said, I draw attention to we're on the eve of a national election year. There are cycles that need to be broken, and to do this, we can't just report and present the information as it is and expect our people to make a better informed decision than they can already have. Our people are bombarded on social media about what they're supposed to think, about decisions, crucial decisions they're supposed to make. And we, the media, must have an opinion. We know the standards that our country should be operating to. We know the standards that our leaders should be upholding, both in the public sector and in the private sector.
Construction of the new terminal building for Momote Airport is well underway and taking shape. The terminal design resembles a stingray, a cartilaginous fish common in the Manus province. This new state-of-the-art facility will include a VIP lounge, a spacious departure lounge, passenger check-in counters, an arrival lounge, baggage screening machines, a kiosk, toilet facilities, and others. The improved facility for Momote Airport coincides with the Manus province's plans to boost business activities and increase tourism opportunities. The Momote Airport upgrade is under Tranche 3 that is funded through the Asian Development Bank's multi-tranche financing facility. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The Department of Finance and Bank South Pacific have signed a memorandum of understanding to enable a digital payment solution for non-tax revenue collection. This is aimed at reducing long queues at various payment avenues and moving away from cash-based systems of payment. The signing ceremony was held yesterday at APEC House in Port Moresby. At a time when the COVID-19 pandemic has forced businesses to resort to making full use of technology due to measures put in place, the financial sector of the country is adamant to venture further into digital space for financial transactions. The MOU signing yesterday is aimed at avoiding cash payments and to enable faster transactions.
This will actually see us going collection of non-tax revenue going digital payment solution via the BSP's payment gateway, including online web service systems, kiosk payment mode, and mobile phone banking. Those are quite innovative stuff. Our non-tax revenues have been collected through the efforts that are located in the Bulupindi House, in our revenue collecting agencies, in the provinces and the districts. But for us now going digital will even make our lives a lot easier
We think through this MOU and in our work with the Department of Finance, we are trying to look at how best we can, at the end of the day, for the best interest of the customers, be able to get onto a digital service payment, which should provide more convenience for the customers, will definitely provide more convenient and maybe easing of their time to be able to get access to paying those services, which is one challenge, and then getting on with receiving the service from government.
A payment system such as this that does not involve customers having to queue at a government department or a BSP branch or an ATM is always a priority for all of our customers. And as Dr. Ken spoke about, it's not just the physical queuing. It's the time that people have to take away from work to travel to those various department treasury offices to pay the respective fees so that the next stage of their service can continue.
So together, we need to take our country back under the leadership of our Prime Minister. These are no time to waste. You and I and all of us can never, ever want to wait for these reforms to come about when the economic performances improve in this country. We live in these times, we live through with its challenges, but be resilient and being able to have the strength to making decisions.
Minister Pundari said the root cause of PNG's fiscal malaise lie in poor governance in public finance management. He said although most of PNG's budget systems are sound and by some accounts even sophisticated, poor governance over the years has led to an erosion of budgetary discipline, weakening of accountability and proliferation of waste, leakage, irregularities and malpractices across the board. 5 coffee grower groups in Jiwaka province were each presented with mini wet mills with standalone single disc pulpers by the Coffee Industry Corporation's intervention program. Agriculture and Livestock Minister John Simon officiated at this launching at the Nondugu Council Chamber grounds recently. The groups include Waka, Numkusi, Obka, Kumbal Kopong and Konum coffee cooperatives. Mr. Simon told the farmers that the government's main aim was to bring the price above 5 kina. He said the government would also look into rehabilitating rundown plantations to bring more cash into the economy. Kairuku Hiri District Development Authority will continue to support schools in the electorate. Despite financial constraints, local MP Peter Isoaimo says education is a key priority. He made this remark at the opening of a new classroom for St. Paul's Day High in Waifa recently.
The local MP flew into Waifa to attend to this small but very significant event for the school and local community. A double classroom funded under the Kairuku Hiri District Development Authority's blessing. The local MP says this is just the start and more effort will be made to help schools.
Our administration may look into doing a variation contract to the same contractor or another contract. It really doesn't matter to me, but I think we need to do 2 more classrooms underneath for our students to go to.
Funding has been an issue for the Kairuku Hiri district, an electorate with huge landmass and population. This classroom will assist the St. Paul Day High School, which has seen an increase in enrollment, a problem faced by many schools around the country.
So my dear children, make the best out of it. We as your government are doing our best to ensure we spend some of your monies into education infrastructure so you can have a better learning environment.
The program also saw the presentation of commitments to support schools in the Waifa area. The local MP says from the 10 million DSIP, not all is received by the district, but says the DDA will ensure schools, students and staff are equipped and supported.
With the COVID-19 effects, it also affects the economy of this country. So my dear people, it's a very difficult time to be a member of Parliament. this time around with all these challenges. Climate change effects, COVID-19 effect, law and order situation effects, everything else compounded. But I guess we're not in heaven, we're on earth, so these are challenges we have to face every day.
Jack Power Jr., National EMTV News.
10 women in business groups from Inawaya in Kairukuhiri district are expected to access loan funding through PNG Women's Microbank or Mama Bank to help them in their business initiatives. Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isuaimo has pledged a funding allocation of 50,000 kina to assist the 10 women groups in meeting the Mama Bank's business loan requirements. MP Isuaimo made this known yesterday. The Kairukuhiri MP said although the national government's SME loan initiatives through Bank South Pacific and National Development Bank are good, the eligibility requirements are too stringent for average people in villages to cope with and access funding for business purposes. MP Isuaimo has therefore engaged the 10 women in business groups in Inawaya with PNG Women's Microbank for easier access of loan funding, given that the women are based in a rural location along the Hiritano Highway. To help the women with equity or seed capital funding in applying for loans through the Mama Bank, the Kairukuhiri MP pledged 5,000 kina for each of the 10 women in business groups at Inawaya, totaling to a 50,000 kina funding commitment. Less than a week after being sworn in as Vice Minister for Treasury at Government House, MP Isuaimo is adamant in enabling funding access by people in villages, particularly for entrepreneurial initiatives. Representatives from the PNG Women's Microbank were there to explain to the women business groups about the loan requirements and what needed to be done. The women groups were happy to be participants of the program and their business venture hopes kept high. Similar support for women groups in other parts of the Kairukuhiri district are expected in the near future. Trukai Industries Limited launched its new brand ambassador, Chef Jules Henao. Trukai Industries marketing manager Marian Tom says they are delighted to be associated with one of PNG's premier chefs.
As Marianne stated,
as the new brand ambassador, Chef Jules Henao will be using Trukai products such as the Trukai rice with local produce to cook up new delicious recipes. Chef Jules says he will be promoting healthy diet through his new recipes with Trukai products.
I'm a massive advocate for supporting local and supporting business houses that support local produce as well and push that message. So the collaboration with Trukai was an easy one for me. This is that have the same sort of ethos that I share as well, and it's kind of a simple one. It's just support local produce, give back to the farmers, give back to the suppliers, the small guys that do all the hard work out there. So
Chef Jules has worked in restaurants overseas like Hong Kong, Sydney, London, and he has his own catering company. Marian Tom says it's a refreshing change for the Trukai brand because it's a shift towards what brings Papua New Guinean families together, and that is food. And Trukai has been a part of this history for generations.
And we're able to bring this great quality product to you with the partnership of our customers throughout Papua New Guinea who work tirelessly with us to make sure you can easily find your favorite Trukai rice on the shelves nationwide.
Meanwhile, to coincide with the launch of Trukai's new brand ambassador, promotions will run on Trukai's new Facebook page, which is dedicated to all Trukai brand-related activities. The activities' prizes will include a latest Samsung S21 mobile phone and co-branded Trukai and Chef Jules merchandise. Gertrude Gabin, National EMTV News.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG Athletics Committee today hosted a workshop to discuss and improve communication strategies for athletes in the country.
Session was about pulling all that information together and then using also the PNG Olympic Committee have adopted a new strategic plan which sees them into 2024. So we need to make sure that we are, as Athletes Committee, aspiring to make sure that PNG Olympic Committee is linking to their vision and mission, and we need to make sure that we're sort of in that strategy as well. So we're linking everything that the AC is key responsibilities to do and also what we need to do within the Olympic Committee.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight in the southern region: Port Moresby, cloudy with brief showers and possible thunderstorms. Daru, cloudy periods with brief showers. Kerema, cloudy with rain periods. Alotau, cloudy periods with brief showers. And Popondetta, cloudy with few showers. To the Momase region, Lae, partly cloudy. Medang, fine, light to moderate easterly winds. Wewak, fine, light southeasterly winds. Vanimo, partly cloudy with brief showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, mostly fine, moderate southeasterly winds. Kavieng, fine, moderate southeasterly winds. Kokopo and Rabaul, fine with light southeasterly winds. Buka, mostly fine, light to moderate southeasterly winds. To the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, cloudy with few showers. Goroka and Kundiawa, cloudy with few showers, light variable winds. Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy with few showers with light variable winds. Forecasts for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters from Kiwai Islands to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands, seas 1 to 2 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finschhafen, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters north of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Aitape to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of New Ireland to New Britain and Bougainville, seas 1.1 to 2 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas in the coral seas: seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. In the Solomon Seas, seas slight with easterly winds of 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Seas, seas slight with southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate with east to southeast winds of 15 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Saturday, the 15th of May 2021. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.